What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Keep Faith Podcast. I am your host, Tori. It is the first Sunday of 2026.
Woo, woo.
Supposedly, because y'all know technically this ain't the beginning. This is not a beginning of a year. Technically, but we ain't gonna go too deep today. And of course, I have my sister, my guest, who's been on the podcast, who's no stranger to the podcast. She's
None.
been on many occasions, so she ain't no stranger to the podcast. My
Right.
sister, Dr. Sandee Delice. Now, those that don't know or may not have seen you before, tell everybody a little bit about yourself. And before we start, and y'all, let me tell you, I forgot to write it down.
Uh-oh.
But if I forget some people, please charge it to my head and not my heart. I'm gonna shout out to some people because I know the conversation I may forget to do it at the end of the show. So let me do it now. I want to shout out to some people that have birthdays. One of my classmates celebrated a birthday on yesterday, January the 3rd. He celebrated his 50th birthday. Mr. Avery Jett celebrated a birthday on yesterday.
Happy
Toby
birthday. Happy
Bristow,
birthday.
Toby Bristow celebrated a birthday yesterday.
Happy
Class of
birthday,
92.
Toby.
Prophetess Angela Goodson is celebrating a birthday today.
Happy birthday, prophetess.
And my girl Zandra is celebrating a birthday on today. Got some people coming up tomorrow. Keena Foster celebrating on tomorrow.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
It's somebody else, but I'm forgetting. My cousin coming up next Saturday. Her birthday is January 10th. Latasha Foster. Because by the time my podcast next Sunday, it'll be a belated birthday. So I'm gonna shout her out early.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, cuz.
Yeah, so yeah. And there's some other birthdays that are coming up, but hopefully by next Sunday I can shout out the other birthdays. But happy birthday to everybody that had a birthday. I want to say it now before I forget. Sandy,
Yes.
do you want to sing?
Do I want to sing? Don't do that to these people, man. Don't do that to these people. Listen, happy birthday. That's what I'm going to say. I'm not even going to try to sing. I wish you many blessings in the years to come. Don't let Tori mess up your birthday by having me sing on this podcast.
Well, happy birthday to the people that celebrate. If your birthday month, do like me, celebrate all month long. But happy birthday to all the birthdays. And I apologize if I missed anyone because there were so many that come up in the month of January. So, but anyway, Sandee, Dr. Sandee Delice, my girl, my sister, my rider. We've been sisters, but like we met at the College of Charleston a long time ago. And we've been talking ever since. So those that may not have met you or see you on a podcast, tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So as Tori said, I'm Dr. Sandee. I'm Dr. Sandee Delice. I am my doctorate is in educational leadership. I am a special education teacher. I teach students with emotional disabilities. I am a life coach. I'm a daughter. I'm an auntie. You know, I am just a person that loves life and I love people. So I also have my podcast that I do. It's the 5th. I do it on Tuesday nights at 7:30. So I believe I may be coming on this Tuesday. I'm not sure. I'm in limbo trying to think about if I want to do one in January or not. But if you can go to YouTube and just look at videos that I've done before on the 5th. So me and Tori do our link up thing. And like she said, we've been rocking since the 90s. I don't tell you how long, but it's been since the 90s. We're not putting the age on ourselves because I feel good. Like I feel so good. So yeah. Hello to everybody out there. Whenever you watch this podcast, lovely to meet you.
And listen, Big Baby Durant, my bad. I forgot. I know I'm going to forget somebody. Big Baby Durant celebrated a birthday January 2nd, and Tanika celebrated a birthday yesterday as well. I knew I was going to see when you start calling names, you get caught up. But happy birthday, Big Baby Durant. Your birthday was Friday. And
happy birthday.
Yeah. But like she said,
do celebrate all month long. Do that.
Yeah, we celebrate all month long. That's how you do it. But listen, so you chose.
Before we go, since we doing birthday shout outs in this month, next Sunday is my sister's birthday. I'm not gonna say her name because she like to keep herself low key. Just know it's my youngest sister. my youngest sister. So happy birthday. Do your thing. God bless you.
Oh,
Yeah, she low key. She ain't for the media. So let me not even, let me respect her boundaries and
okay. Well,
the same
happy
as well.
birthday next coming up next. You said next Sunday. That's
Next
what, the
Sunday. Next
11th?
Sunday the 9th.
Next the 9th is on a Friday.
Oh, well, her birthday Friday. See? Her birthday is Friday. It's the 9th. It's the 9th.
No, you didn't miss the podcast. We just getting started. So you good. We
Yeah,
were
we
just
just
doing some
getting
birthday
warmed up.
shout outs. So you good. So stay tuned in, stay locked in.
Thanks for joining though.
And so I was gonna ask you, so the topic that you chose was New Year,
New
same
year,
me.
same
So
me.
please elaborate. Why did you choose this topic? New
You
Year,
know,
same you.
because the new year, every time this new year rolls around, I'm going to say for myself in the past, because I'm doing something different this year. It's pressure. It is so much pressure. Like this new year is coming up. People want to make resolutions. They want to change things about themselves. They want to change where they look. They want to change where they work. They want to change, you know, it's to the point where you are changing so much in your life that you probably start to lose yourself. So for me, it was important for me to make sure that I look at New Year, but it's the same me. Are there things that I want to change? I don't want to change it. There's things that I want to do so I can be better. There's things I don't want to look at it as a change. I want to look at it as an add on, right? Because I'm a person that believes no matter what you've gone through in your life, there is a lesson in it. So I don't want to reinvent myself so much that I forget to take the things with me that made me who I am before 2026 ever popped off. So I'm like, you know what? It's a new year, but it's going to be the same me. I'm just going to add on so I can be better. But I'm not trying to reinvent myself and become somebody that, first of all, I'm not even going to be able to recognize because I got so caught up in the can I stay consistent going to the gym? Can I stay consistent eating in a certain kind of way? And then on top of that, you're building stress and anxiety because you're trying to do something that you're really not prepared for. So, new year, same me. Let me just go through the motions of what I need to do and try to be more consistent rather than trying to reinvent myself. So that's what New Year, same me is all about.
Oh wow. I like that. I like that concept. Cause see, I'm one of those people. I don't believe in the hype of the resolutions. I'm gonna be in the gym because I'm not finna lie to myself. Go to the gym because I'm one of those people. If I
Right.
say I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna be in the gym probably like 4 days, maybe. I'm not even gonna make it a full week. I might be in there. I got this. I'm gonna go in there for, but that ain't. No, I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie and tell myself I'm being in the gym because that ain't gonna happen. Now, one
That's
thing I
true.
did do last year, which I made a effort to stop eating meat. Like
Uh-huh.
I didn't start right at the beginning of January, but I
Right.
started like January because I think that first week I was eating meat like crazy. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna stop eating meat. And so I stopped eating meat last year, January
Hmm.
the 7th, and I was consistent with it. I started back eating meat like probably like 7 months later.
Wow.
And I was like, dang, Tori, you could have went a full year. I
Yeah.
did seven months now
Right.
and fell off the wagon. And since I started back, I ain't got back. And I told my son, listen, December 31st, I said, okay, I'm gonna stop eating meat. Okay, I'm a girl, January the 1st came. I'm gonna stop eating meat tomorrow. Man, it the 4th. And I'm still eating meat. Right?
It's pressure. It's
That's what
pressure, And the thing about it is also is that not only is it pressure on yourself, but it's also
yeah.
pressure to try to keep up with society and keep up with the culture. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a thing that's been like, I don't even know if to call it a tradition. I don't even know what you call this New Year resolution thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But no, at the end of the day, it's pressure for you to try to keep up with something, and yes, everything you start, you want to change, you got to force yourself to do it. But if you're going to force yourself so much that it eventually doesn't become a healthy habit, then just let it go and live your life. Like, you only got one life to live. Like, do better, eat better. It doesn't mean you're gonna eat better every day, but if you happen to fall off, don't beat yourself up. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Life is a process. If we all could do it, it won't be this resolution thing wouldn't drive you as crazy. You know what I'm saying? So just live your life. You know what I'm saying? Do what you need to do for yourself in the moment. Tomorrow is not promised at all. Tomorrow is not promised. So live your life. If you want to do better, be intentional about doing better. And if you happen to fall off, don't beat yourself up. They say you fall down 7, get back 8, fall down 6, get back 7. It's the same concept. Just live your life in that manner. Don't, if you want to do a resolution, don't get me wrong. I'm not hitting on nobody. I'm just saying my thing is new year, same me. I'm just going to add on to what I already know. I'm going to learn from the bad and add on to the good.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And let me stop you. Let me acknowledge my sister Tanya. She said, "Love you, sis, and keep up the amazing work." What's up, sister? Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you're
Hey, Miss
recovering
Hunter.
well. Thank you for tuning in. And what I was gonna say, Sandy, is what about the fact of like I realized when you said same New Year's, same you, I realized at the end of 24 going into 25, I suffered, I would say, heartbreak. And
Mm-hmm.
then at the end of 25, going into 26, I suffered heartbreak. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I got to do something different this year
Yeah.
because
And
I
you,
went at the end of 24, I shed some tears. At the end of 25, I shed more tears. And I was like, you know what? I got to make some changes. I
right.
got to make some
So,
changes
so
with
you
some
just got to
things.
be mindful that when you get into making resolutions, that you're not putting yourself into a cycle. Now I don't know whether the tears you shed, you had any, not say you had a part to play in it, or if it's just natural causes of the world or natural causes of life's evolution. But sometimes when you get yourself in a certain situation, you wire your mind to think the same whether or not you know it. And you kind of look forward to something happening because you're like, this is how my year ended last year. Now, how is this year going to end? You know what I'm saying? And you kind of get yourself in a mindset of, let me see what's going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you're building yourself up and then you're breaking yourself down because of your mindset. So my thing for going into 2026, like I said, is not a resolution. I got 3 words that I'm going by, right? I'm a reset, I'm a refocus, and I'm a shift.
Mm.
That's
Say
my
that
thing.
again.
I'm a reset, refocus, and shift. So
Okay.
I'm not making a resolution. Okay, they are, like I said, they are things that you don't want to take with you, but I need to see from those things that I have gone through. And now I'm talking about things that cause turmoil or just didn't feel good in your body, right? How do I reset myself from that? What did those things teach me, and how do I move forward? Now when I get into the part about me refocusing, I'm not just saying gung ho, drop it and go. Okay, where am I going to? Now that I said I'm resetting this, now where am I going? Where do I want to go? Right? Let me set reasonable and measurable goals. Like you said, you jump into the gym. I'm gonna do this for 6 months. Well, if you ain't worked out all your life, that 6 months gonna be hard. Let me just tell you that. One day at a time, one week at a time. Right? And then once I refocus my life, then I make the shift. The shift is the work. The shift is the process. The shift are the things that you have to do. So you're not just you're not just saying, I'm going to do this for this amount of time, but you're making an intentional change to go through the process. You understand what I'm saying? And as you go through the process, it becomes a part of your daily living. It wasn't something that you pressured yourself to do, because Rome wasn't built in a day. So you really got to take the time to take a deep dive inside of you, Forget what the culture says. Forget what your community, whatever you got going on. How do you get inside of yourself for you to do what you need to do? I'm not talking about 2026. I'm talking about today, Sunday, and move on forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Erica says, "Hey Tori, I don't do the resolutions either because I now realize I'm evolving daily. So there's a new me daily." Oh, I
Clock
like
that
that.
T. Clock that T, Erica. Let's go. We are evolving daily, so there's a new me daily. And baby girl, embrace that new you every day.
I
Listen,
love that.
grow up and glow up. That's what I'm. See, listen, man, I'm loving this. Let's go, Erica. Let's go.
And Tanya says, "Thanks, sis. I'm walking now, still recovering from my surgery. I'm still staying clean and sober. Thank the Lord and still staying strong with sobriety. I love you so much. 2026 even. Oh, I am so proud of you.
Me too. I am
And thank you so much for
absolutely proud of you.
sharing that.
Listen,
You may have encouraged somebody else.
you better talk that talk. Listen,
Yes.
Miss Tanya Hunter, it is a pleasure to meet you, and God bless you. God bless you for being so brave to just put this out there. You understand what I'm saying? Because this is a process, this is a journey, and you're like, you know what? This ain't nothing that I gotta just hide about it because at the end of the day, sobriety is something that's real. And like Tori said, you are definitely helping somebody when they read this. So God bless you. And I wish you the best. And listen, I'm here for you. I'm here for you on this journey. I'm rooting you on. That's excellent. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. And Big Baby Durant says, "Congratulations, Tanya." See, girl.
Listen, let's go.
Listen, now that's what it means when you put in the work. Put in the
Yes,
work.
yes. And
And
listen,
then
that's some hard
sometimes
work.
and listen, sometimes when you put in the work, especially with that, you have to change your environment. You have to change
Yes,
who you're around. You have to
yes.
protect and guard your gates, what you're listening to, and all this type of stuff, what you're saying, words you speak, brother. And me and my son just had this conversation. Words that you speak are very powerful,
Oh
very
yeah.
powerful. So be
Oh yeah.
careful and mindful of what you say and all that. That just
Yes.
made my I'm just so
I love it. I'm glad she joined. But you know what, Tori, you said something that's so real. When you are in that space where you have to go through the process, we've
mm-hmm.
had this conversation on other shows. You got to change your environment.
Yes.
You know, you got to change your environment. I mean, this morning in church, the pastor wasn't talking about resolutions, but he was just talking about changing the way that you talk, changing the places that you go, changing the
Mhm.
people that you have around you, because I mean, whether or not you know it, everybody ain't for you. Tears of joy, baby, tears of joy. Cry your cry. Release it. Cry your cry. I love it. I love it.
Finish your
Yeah,
thought.
but
You said everybody ain't for you.
everybody ain't for you and everybody's not cheering you on, you know. So you got to realize that when you get into this space, like I said, reset, reshift, refocus. You got to, I'm not saying you don't need people. I'm just saying don't be afraid to step out and realize that sometimes the journey that you're on, you got to do it by yourself. A lot of times the journeys that you're on, you have to do it by yourself. When you do the hard work in private, it's going to show in public, even if you don't want it to or not. And I'm not saying do it to show off. I'm saying once you're doing the work, you look different, and you look different because you feel different, and you feel different because you talk different, and you talk
Mhm.
different because you just loving on you. So make that shift. Don't be afraid. Sometimes you may have to put some things aside, put the pause on some people, some places, some things, for you to grow. Growth is hard and growth
Absolutely.
is uncomfortable, but growth is very necessary
And
as
then
we
I
get
said this
older.
before, and I've said this before, sometimes, and I had to realize this a long time ago. Sometimes who you may be assigned to someone, but just because God assigned you for to that particular person or that particular situation doesn't mean that you are their assignment. So you have
Right.
to do what he assigns you to do, and
Yep.
move on.
And move on.
And you
Very
had,
much
and I
so.
have to learn that. And then sometimes one thing about me is I expect people to have the heart that I have. That's not
Aha.
how it works.
No.
I expect sometimes people to have the capacity that I have, the love and to forgive and care. Everybody does not have that capacity. So I'm
Right.
learning to meet people where they are. And then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm learning that I have to leave and leave them behind if necessary. If it's robbing me of my peace, oh,
That's a no, Birdie. That's a
whoo,
no. And here's the thing. When you say leave behind, I've also used that term and said you leave people behind. But I kind of want to shift that mindset and you're not really leaving them behind because your journey and their journey is not the same. So you're not really leaving them behind. You're doing what you need to do for you, and you're moving through your process, through your evolution of life. You can only hope that eventually they understand that there is a process for them to take if they're in a situation where they need to move on, and they move on, but
mhm,
I want to shift the mindset of thinking that I want to leave people behind. It just means that I have to move forward for myself and then just
mhm.
let them be right where they're at because our timetable is not the same at all.
Absolutely.
You
And
know what I'm saying? So,
let me see what my sister Tanya said. She said, "I do family and my grandkids and children. I know that cause some will try to call you back in that position, but pray for and someone that maybe needs to hear my story because I have one and blessed. I understand myself better now and my worth." I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to
yes,
hear that. And
yes,
listen, if whenever you want to come on the podcast, you're welcome to come on the podcast to share your story because like I
yes,
said,
ma'am.
I'm proud of you for being bold and speaking about it because there are some people that are not going to speak about. A lot of times we say, because growing up, I know most people like what goes on this house stays in this house, but sometimes you have to speak on it, and we have to. A lot of times in our community, people don't believe in therapy. I think in
Right.
some cases, therapy and having a life coach, I think it's a game changer. It makes a
Yeah,
difference because a lot of
yeah.
times when you don't get the therapy that you need or talk about situations or whatever you're going through, all you're doing is like sweeping it on the rug, and then the stuff on the rug is gonna pile up, and after a while, you're gonna start tripping over the rug.
Okay, that part, that part. See, but when you also talk about when people say what goes on in my house stays in, what goes on here stays here. Well,
Mhm.
here's the thing about it. Okay, whether or not I'm not putting this on anybody, whatever your spirituality is, but there are reasons that the Almighty Father takes us through things. And a lot of times, sometimes it's not for us to keep to ourselves. Sometimes we are an example. Sometimes we are that light for other people to see that if you've gone through it, I know that there is hope for me because some people just need hope. And hope doesn't always come from a family member or a friend, hope can come from a complete stranger. So I share a lot of my stories because I believe that things that I've gone through, having gone through a divorce, I've helped so many people, because a lot of people have gone through divorce and they've been in the pits for a long time and they've gone through depression and gone through just having anxiety and just in a bad place, and it's not to say I don't think I was ever in a bad place, because you've gone through a divorce that's hurtful. But I'm thankful that I found a purpose in finding coming through that fire and making it mean something, not just for me but for other people that have gone through it and they're trying to figure out how do I still hold my head up high and move forward when you've given so much to something and then somebody just finds no value in what you've done and throw it away. And that in itself can make a lot of people feel like they're not worth anything and they're not valuable. So that's why I share my story all the time. And I am open and honest and willing to talk to people all the time that there is so much, and I emphasize the so much life after going through a divorce. There is so much life, you know. And if you're open to it and you're available, let me say this, you have to be available to yourself. That is something that you have to understand how to do. Be available for you. And that just means you're going to embrace every emotion, you're going to embrace every trauma, not to stay stuck, but to move on. Be available for you to be that person that, you know, I got to get through it, because I could talk to Tori all day, but it's not going to really change the way I feel until I'm ready to change the way I feel. It's hard, you know. So I find value in that. So, you know, yes, what happens in here stays in here. I'm not saying go broadcast everything just because. I'm saying when you feel the calling to share what you've been through and share what's on you, knowing that it's going to help somebody else, don't second guess it, because you won't be able to rest well, because there is a work for you to do. And until you do that work, you're not going to be at peace.
And you know what? I've just had this conversation with my son earlier. I said a lot of times we don't share our story because of the fact that we are protecting others that we may possibly expose. But
Right.
we have the responsibility, if we are led to tell our truth. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And a lot of times
Absolutely.
we don't share things because it's going to expose this person, it's going to expose that person. But sometimes telling your truth is necessary. And
Telling
then
your truth is
I've
necessary
even,
for you.
yeah, and I've actually said, and not, and speaking on me, not speaking on things because of who I think is going to get upset. I'm
Right.
protecting people that hurt me, and
Right.
I'm just not speaking up about it because I'm like, oh, people gonna get mad at me. I'm expose this person. But sometimes you gotta speak up.
Yeah.
Speak up for yourself, and then you don't know. Sometimes when you don't speak up, those people that hurt you, they have the opportunity to hurt other people as well. And other people may go through some of the things that you went through when you should have spoken up to prevent them from, hurting anybody else. So
Right.
I mean, I encourage people all the time, when you're led to just tell your story. And
Yes.
as I'm saying this, I'm talking to myself.
Yes. I mean, everything you go through in your life ain't about you. And I
Yeah,
found that out. Like, I was like going through a divorce, you know, you thought, you know, you see the signs and you see the red flags, but, you know, hope and promise is something that everybody wants to live on to. You know what I'm saying? But then once it happens, you're like, why me? Well, my question is, why not me? Now that I've gone through it, I realize that I've been able to handle it in a different way than a lot of people have. There's people that have gone through divorce and they're fine. You know what I'm saying? They're remarried or whatever. I like this singleness that I am in. Like, this journey of being in singleness after divorce has been amazing because of the self-reflections that I've been able to do. So it's got me to a place where I could say, why not me? I'm okay with it. I embrace it. I wouldn't wish it for anybody else if it's unnecessary. But when it does happen, it has its bumps and it has its bruises. But trust me, on the other side, listen, the life lessons you learn are so golden. I couldn't even begin to describe to you what it's like, you know? So, yeah, sometimes when you get ready to tell your story, you got to sit and say, I know this person going to be mad. I got a plan of how I'm going to handle it. I know they going to say this and they going to say that. Am I going to respond to it or not? Because I'm not telling my story to put you on blast. I'm telling my story to help somebody else. And if you offended by the story that I told, then that just tells you that you need to be taking a deep dive into yourself. Because I'm not the person that's going to sit here and lie. I'm telling my story. So
right,
it's
right.
on you. Yeah.
And the other side to it as well, that we have to realize, which I had to realize a lot of times, like you were saying earlier, you ask yourself, why me? And you say, why not me? But
Why
we have
not
to
me?
understand also that God allows certain things to happen. He
Yeah.
allows it. And a lot of
Absolutely.
times I've even had situations where God told me, leave this person alone or stop talking to this person. This person's not good for your health. But
Mm-hmm.
we don't always listen.
Child.
So listen, when you don't want to listen, you gonna guess what? You gonna keep getting hurt.
Yeah.
Keep getting hurt.
Yeah. You don't listen, you gonna listen, like they say, you're gonna find out one way or another.
Listen, and
But you
then
still, but here's the thing, you get the opportunity to learn. You
yeah,
get the opportunity to do better. You
mm,
don't have to be like we're talking about. You could say
mhm,
New Year, same me. You could say New Day, same me. But
mhm,
all of these things build the person that you are. So if you try to
right,
change and you want to reinvent yourself, there are pieces, very important pieces that you're going to miss, that you're going to carry into the next season that's there to help you. Because at this point, you've already learned what motivates you and what doesn't motivate you. You already learned there are things that didn't really happen that good, and I can take it and use it as a tool to project my life. I'm not taking bad into a new season. This bad is no longer bad. It has become good and necessary for me to go through this process to get to the next place I'm going to, you know. So that's why you say New Year. No, it's a new year and it's the same me. Ain't no New Year, new me. They'd be like, new phone, who this? I know exactly who it is. It's me. I know exactly. New phone, that's me. You know?
right.
So yeah.
My sister Tanya says because now drugs are killing people bad around here and other places, so it's time to speak out and speak up.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
I will say that once you start, I know for me, once you start changing your environment, once you start drinking, changing who you're connected to, you'll be surprised what a difference that it makes. Because like
Oh
I
yeah.
had some people that are around me every time. What's crazy is one of those years I actually lost a person that I talked to every day. And I was thinking, since we no longer speak, it's more peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm crying over what I lost,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't realize what I gained.
Right. Right.
So you start to reflect sometimes on things like you crying over this, and when you look back, you like you crying over this, and then you have to
Oh yeah.
realize sometimes you have to be careful when you say that prayer. God remove who's not for me.
Yes.
And then when he started removing people, you're like, well, why did what? You said it. You told him to remove, and he
Listen.
did just what you asked him to do. But you wasn't
Okay.
ready for him to remove certain people.
Right. See, but when he removes those certain people, when you say that prayer, God, and I'm saying it's funny you say that because I can see myself in a shower in full-blown tears. God, if this person ain't for me, remove them. That's the prayer.
Mm,
And you just pray that prayer like it rolls off your tongue, like you in that shower and that water rolling off your back. And then a year and a half later, when it comes to life and you sit there and you like, why me? When you get to a place where you allow him to prune you, you figure out in that maturity that that was an answered prayer. If you will stay the course and you will just continue to grow and thrive and believe in him and what he's saying, you're going to realize that he answered a prayer not to cause you pain, but it was a prayer for your good because you asked for it. You didn't know his timing, but he did it in his time. Now you just got to align yourself with his timing, and you're going to see exactly why he did it, why it was necessary, and why it is probably one of the biggest blessings in your life.
mm.
So I speak from experience. It has been a blessing in my life, and I have been pruned, and my vines have been plucked, and I've had new leaves and new branches. and it's mistakes that I know that I hope to never make again. Never make
Yeah.
again. So listen, I'm here for it. That's what I like to say. I'm here for it.
And listen, the pruning does not feel good. Oh my God.
Not at
It's
all.
like you feel like, Lord, why I got to go through this? But once you come on the other side,
Yeah,
it is the greatest feeling ever.
right.
Oh my
And you
God,
have
it's so
not changed who you are. What you
good.
have done is you have grown. You
Right.
didn't change. You're not a different person. You have just grown, and you allowed your pain. And I like to say this, you have to allow your pain to allow you to see your purpose.
Mm.
And if you can be in that maturity, let me tell you something, the growth that you see in yourself is unexplainable, it's unimaginable. And all you can do is just tell people, look, trust me when I tell you, you know, it was good that I was afflicted. That's what I say. That's
Mm.
what it was good that I was afflicted. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness. And I look back sometimes like I'm in 49 years of living. And I look back at my way of thinking, like stuff that we did, I did, was at college
Mhm.
Charles. I'm like, you did
R-
what,
Right.
girl? What
Right.
was you thinking? Like crazy stuff I can't do
Listen.
now. Cause I know what I remember, like I don't know if you remember this, Sandy, but back in when we were in college, like sometimes like in the middle of the night, if I couldn't sleep, it could be like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll just start walking.
Yeah.
And I
Get up and
remember
get
one
moving.
particular time I was walking late at night and the
Uh-huh.
same area where I was walking, like that next night or the night after that, somebody was killed. That same area where I was.
Right.
And I said, and I look
Right.
back, I said, God was really protecting me.
For sure. For sure. Because we was in
Like,
college and we was having a good old time.
like,
But
I mean,
but when you look back,
yes,
all you can say really is, God, thank you for protecting me. Thank you that I'm
exactly.
able to be here and reflect on it. So I have a friend that her daughter's in college right now at the same college of Charleston. And I try to tell her, I'm like, this is a process that you cannot hold her hand through.
Hmm.
This is a process that you cannot try to manipulate and be a helicopter parent, right? By all means necessary, your charge is to pray for your child. You have to pray for them just because you can't protect her from everything. You cannot protect your children from everything. God has given you the capacity to pray and trust in Him, that you have taught your kids the best that you know how, that when they go out into the real world, that the values and morals that you have instilled in them will stick. And even if it doesn't, you still pray for them. Because I'm sure and I'm positive that once upon a time, the morals and values that I grew up was not sticking to me. But as you thank God for the goodness and the mercy that you get to grow up and be here and look back and say, you know what, I can talk to this person about it. I can give advice, but I'm not going to look at you no differently. I'm not going to judge you because you're living your life. I lived my life, but I can tell you what I've been through. I can tell you the things I've done, the outcomes, why you should or shouldn't, but it's still up to you if you want to make these decisions. But ultimately, you have your life that you have to live, you know.
Yes.
So
And I
as a
have to
parent,
remind,
you're always gonna
yeah,
worry.
yeah, because I have to remind myself that very thing, like Tori.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so protective of my son. I'm like, Tori,
Hmm.
but it's like I guess I'm super, super protective now because when we were growing up, the world wasn't, it probably was crazy then, but it just seemed like it's like 10 to me, it just seemed like it's 10 times crazier these days.
Right.
Like it
Right.
just seemed like this world that we living in now is just really evil and crazy. So I'm
Yeah.
just like constantly making sure but like you said, we can't protect them from everything.
You can't. You can't. And I mean, and when we were growing up, there were crazy things going on too. But with our level of maturity that we have, we now see the world and see life through a totally different lens.
Yeah.
Whereas Some kids are able to be mature, or I won't say to be mature. Some kids have the maturity where they can see the dangers, and some kids are just going to live their life just like we did. But we have to always understand that we've gone through it, we've grown up, and the lens that we're looking at now, we can see the dangers because we're wiser, and you kind of looking for the dangers. You're looking for ways to keep yourself safe. Whereas that wasn't your mindset, like you said, when you're, teenagers, you in school. It's just a lot of crazy things that you do. And you're just thankful you get to make it through and, live to tell a story and, hopefully encourage somebody to not do certain things. So
Yeah.
which reminds me when you say that, let's go ahead, read Tanya Hunters.
Tanya says, but you do your best to protect, but it's this word called life. And it's so many choices and changes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. And I was gonna say, when you look at your kids, and people, um, your kids go through their life and you watch them do things that you didn't teach them anything about. So we'll sit there and we'll say, that's not my child. That is not the way I raised you. You doing stuff out of character. But all of those things that are out of character are the same things that I'm talking about, that if God spares their life, they get to learn from those mistakes and be a better person. Those are the heartaches and the headaches and the hard lessons in life that is inevitable for everybody. Everybody's going to learn some hard lessons. Some lessons are not going to be as hard as the other person's, but these are the things that you put in your belt, in your tool belt, that helps you build the life that you want to build. Because if you think, all the tools that's on your tool belt, they're not all dull. A lot of them have sharp edges. A lot of them cause damage.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at the tools in your tool belt and said, these are good for where I'm going. Another person could look at the tools in the tool belt and said, this hammer can cause a lot of damage. This screwdriver could go, hurt somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all a perspective shift. Are the tools in your belt, are you going to just say these are good tools, so naturally my life is going to go a good way? Or are you going to say these tools in here serve two different purposes? I can use these tools and I can let them continue to destroy me or somebody else. Or I could use these tools, and even though some of them are dangerous, I know how to use them to take me through this process. So, although I am the same person, I'm using this thing as a tool to help me project my life to grow to be a better person. So,
Absolutely.
everything is not always about changing, right? Everything is just about, how do I use what I have to help me evolve into a respectable person, first for myself, but also what can I give to my community, or give to my family, or give to whoever I'm around, you know? So everything don't have to change for you to just decide, I gotta change. No, you can refine yourself. You don't have to reinvent. You can be refined.
Mm, I like that. And I've heard someone say, you know how we always say, doing the same thing over. I heard two different perspectives, and tell me what's your take on this. People always say doing the same things over and over is insanity. And then I heard a twist with it: doing the same thing over and over is consistency. How do you view that statement, doing the same thing over and over again?
So here's the two things. There's a piece in there that was missing. Doing the same things over and over and getting the same results.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If the result is not adding any value to you, then yes, that's insanity. Whereas doing the same thing over and over and over, yes, you are being consistent, but it does not mean that your outcome is going to show any proof of the consistency. For
Mm.
instance, for instance, I'm a teacher, right? Prior to prior to working for the government, the job that I did as a teacher was for the federal government. Okay. I went to work every single day. But when you get to a certain level working for the federal government in the school district, your pay stops. So, yes, I'm doing the same thing over and over and over. I am consistent, right? But financially, I'm not moving anywhere. Whereas now that I've made the shift, right, I'm doing the same things as in I'm getting up and I'm going to work. But the consistency is not that I'm getting up and going to work only. The consistency is that I still have to do something different to make a difference in the lives of the children that I'm with every day. So I am consistent in that I am able to get up and go to work and keep my job. But if I do the same things for these children every day, they're not going to grow. So consistency sounds good because it's supposed to be a positive word. But you can consistently do nothing. I'm just saying.
That part.
that whole part. You can consistently do nothing. So yes, doing the same thing over and over and over is consistency, but you're not going to get your outcomes going to be bland, because when you work out, if you keep lifting these 10-pound weights, you're not getting any stronger. If you know when you work out, you have to increase your weight. Now, as a woman, we're not going to 35 and 45, but you have to level up. If you run every day, your body's going to plateau.
Right.
If you eat the same things every day, your body's going to plateau, which is why when people want to make changes in their body, their nutrition lifestyle has to change. Right? When you make a certain amount of money, you live in a different kind of house. You might drive a different kind of car. When you feel like your life is at a standstill, you change your environment. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not you're not the person that's changing. The things around you are changing. I'm gonna always go back because I'm keep driving my point. It's a new year, but it's the same me.
Right.
The year may have changed, but I'm still the same person that I have, because I still get to choose what allows me to be me with the morals and the values that I have and push me further so that I can be, I don't know, a witness to somebody else, or I can help somebody else. Oh, and I can grow my life so that as I live in this world, I'm living more comfortable.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I'm with you. I'm with you with I've heard that, doing the same thing is insanity. Well, you know what? You can be consistent and you can still be insane.
That part.
So think about what you're talking about when you say consistency, because consistency don't mean something good always.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
I promise you. Because like even when I was consistent, years ago when I started working out and I was consistent with my eating, I was eating clean. And I was consistent with eating clean. And I was wondering, I was like, well, why am I not losing weight? But what it was, it's like I was staying the same weight, but it was like I was losing the fat, but I was building muscle mass.
Right.
So I was being consistent with eating clean, and I thought it wasn't changing anything because I was the same weight. But instead of it being fat, it was turning into muscle. So I was still being, saying, and then your body changes as well. You're more toned when you're eating healthier. So that's why one of the reasons too why I wanted to get back on the healthy tip, because when I fell off eating the wrong things, I fell off. But I'm gonna get back on track. I'm definitely gonna get back on track because, of course, we're getting older, so we wanna live longer, healthier lives. So it is important that we do change our eating habits.
Oh yeah, it's a process for me too. Repetition with a negative outcome. That's consistency. There you go. I hear you, JD. And repetition with a different outcome is key. Boom, bam, pow. There it is.
Listen, Sandee, I don't have my glasses. I was like, what? I was like, is that your brother? But I ain't got my glasses.
Yeah, that's my brother. That's Jonathan Delice 9189. That's him.
Listen, Jonathan, it's time for you to come back. The next time you got to come on back and spread some wisdom.
Spread that wisdom. Come through with it.
But
Always nice.
Sandy, listen, this hour went by so fast. It's like we've already been on for like 50 minutes. But what are some of your closing thoughts? Because I don't want to take up your Sunday, but also I want to shout out to you because when I reached out to you, I was like, Sandy, I need you to come back on the show. I'm like, pick your Sunday, what Sunday in January you want to come. Sandy, listen, I'm thinking she gonna give me a date, y'all. She was like, today. I'm like, what? I told my son, I said, that's what's up, because by starting today, that'll start my, starting the year out trying to be more consistent. Because just like
Right.
I was telling my son, we lost a dear friend of ours in 24.
Yeah.
I completely fell off. And
Yeah.
now we're coming up on 2 years. And I was just
Yeah.
telling my son, I said, I
Wait.
know she's shaking her head like, Tori, what you got going on?
Right. And that's
Like I'm
exactly what she said. What you got going on?
like I'm good. Like, why are you tripping? I'm
Right.
good.
Right. Don't put this on me. What you got going on?
Right, because I'm
You know?
good. So
Yeah.
and I'm proud of myself because I was like, Tori, don't you start that crying. But
Nah,
I
you
got
good.
through it. I got through it without crying. But I
Yes.
was telling my son, I said, I gotta be more consistent. And I said that last year when we came up on the year that she transitioned. I was like, I'm gonna be more consistent, and I wasn't. But thanks to you, you said we're gonna do this today. So
Yeah,
we
let's do this
starting
right
out
now.
2026. It may not still not be every Sunday now, but
But
we off to a good start.
right. And what we talking about the consistency here. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about this can kind of go into the closing thoughts, but it's not really what my closing thoughts are. But I'm gonna say this. When
Okay.
you say it may not be every Sunday now, I like to say exactly what comes to my mind. When we talk about consistency, right? And we say it's not always a good thing. You, just like me, you may want to come on every Sunday. I may want to come on every Tuesday. But if I'm just coming on to be coming on and what I'm bringing to the people ain't got no substance, then I'm down to miss me a couple of days, a couple of weeks. So, yes, I try to do my shows every Tuesday, but there's some days where they're like, yo, Sandy, people are like, what you talking about tonight? I come on at 7:30. If I'm by 5:30, I don't know what I want to talk about, then I'm not doing it. And I don't beat myself up. I'll be here watching TV. I'll go to the gym, do something else. I'll go hang out with my sister. I don't beat myself up because you have to do something substantial. I'm just not on here because I want to do a podcast. I'm on here because I want to make a difference in somebody's life. Even if it's
Absolutely.
2030 and somebody jump on to me with you by yourself for me, and they get something, one thing that I have said or you have said, and it changes something for them, then the job has been done. Forget how many podcasts I've done. If you get something from that one podcast, one word,
Mhm.
one statement, then the job has been done. So I say to you, don't worry about if it's every Sunday. You know, let the Lord lead you. And that's how you figure out which Sundays you're gonna be on or not.
Absolutely. That
Yeah.
part. And Tanya says, Sister, I'll be back on your podcast again. Love. You are a blessing. I really enjoyed your podcast. Thanks again to you both for listening to me, and have a blessed night. We're about to sign off, sister. Thank you so much for joining. Love you.
Love you too. I love you too. I love your bravery. I commend you.
Yes. Now you can get into your closing thoughts, your real closing thoughts.
Now I can get into my closing thoughts. So here's my closing thoughts. We started out with this podcast. We've talked about it's a new year, but it's the same me, right? We've also talked about consistency. Okay. If you are out here listening, or if you are still on this line, or whenever you come across this podcast, like I said a few minutes ago, make sure that you are not just focusing on being consistent. First and most importantly is whatever it is that you decide to do, you have to make sure that, for starters, if you're a believer, that it glorifies God. Okay. Secondly, you need to make sure that your purpose and your intentions are pure for what you're doing. Don't do it for the applause. Don't do it to get a pat on the back. Make sure that whatever it is that you decide to do, you are doing it because you know that it makes you feel good, that this is something that you can share with anybody and it embellishes their life the same way that it has embellished your life. Okay. So I charge you, if you are a person that does New Year resolutions, I hope that you can stick to it. But if you are not a person that does a resolution, you can go through no matter what year, what day, what hour, what minute. You can go through a different season of your life and still be the same person that you are, having just grown a little bit more each time you enter into a new season. So whether you're leaving 2025 behind, you're leaving the year behind, but there are still things that you can take with you to push your life through as you go through the process of wherever it is you want to get to or whatever goals you have set for yourself. But by no means necessary should you feel like you should have the pressure to change because it is a new year. All right. You are charged with being yourself and doing what makes you happy. But make sure that when you do what makes you happy, you're not doing it at the cost of tearing somebody else down. So that's my closing remarks right there.
That's good. And let me put your brother's comment before we close. JD says, speaking on crying is healthy part of my PTSD hypersensitivity, and it sucks because good or bad, I have to fight back tears daily. But how I deal with it is telling myself you're still here. Absolutely. Let me tell
Amen.
you, speaking of that, I just yesterday and days before that, I just started crying out of nowhere. Just boo-hoo crying, just like uncontrollably crying. So I know exactly how that is. You just let yourself have that moment, dry your tears, and keep pushing.
I'm going to do some more research for myself, but I always feel inside of me that crying is healthy.
Yes, it's cleansing. It's cleansing to the soul. It's very healthy. Very
crying
healthy.
is healthy. And
Matter of
Jonathan
fact,
is so right.
we're gonna write that down. That could be possibly be a future topic. So we're gonna put a pin in that.
Crying is healthy.
Yeah.
You know, but just like we said about Tanya, you know, I say the same thing to my brother. You know what I'm saying? There are so many people that are out there dealing with PTSD from all walks of life. But it's huge. It's huge just for him making the simple comment that I hold back tears daily, but when I do cry, I still know that I'm still here.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to read that and somebody's going to be set free. And they may not be set free for the rest of the days, but they're going to be set free in that moment to know that it is okay for me to cry. And you're absolutely right. Oh my gosh.
You know what you doing? On that note, we gonna go. He trying to get us in trouble. We gonna go.
He's trying to start a lot of trouble. No, I'm not gonna lie. I ain't no Cowboys fan either, and I hear about a lot of people. Tori's a Cowboys fan, right?
No, my son
no,
is.
Hold up. You're Steelers.
I'm Steelers. Kadarius is a Cowboys fan, so yeah.
You Steelers.
Yeah.
Hey, nephew.
But we're gonna go.
My bad, nephew. We ain't no Cowboys fans.
We're gonna go on that note, and like I say at the end of each podcast, whatever you go through in this thing called life, you may bend, but don't you dare break. Always keep the faith. And I'm gonna throw this in there. Don't be a Cowboy fan.
Good night, everybody.